Yo, guys, well, it's the kid, 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 it's the kid. Yes, Chelsea hopefully will be delivering those losers very soon at the top of the hour. But look, man, guys, 8 p.m. of course is the game, so we are on a tight, quick schedule here, man. So it is of course Champions League week, but we have to obviously get some other stuff in order before we get into Champions League week. So we're going to talk about the Serie title race. Going to talk about Marega racing in Portugal, maybe even John Barnes, maybe even Jonathan Barnes. We have to talk about the City UEFA ban. So, and I think because there's so much stuff we have to talk about, specifically that City ban, Chelsea preview, let's just get right down to it 100%. Let's not waste any time. Serie title race. Okay, so let's rewind. Last week, did one of you guys say Lazio should be in it? Because I said that screw this guy's a bunch of nobodies. So I don't know. That's maybe one of you. I don't know the line. Look, we have the tape.
Yeah, it's out there. You know,
I think that Lazio for me was second favourites ahead of Inter Milan, and once this weekend, obviously the one just gone, I think it will show that, and they beat them. Obviously, it's at home, but they beat them. Inter's got Juve in a couple of weeks, and I think they'll drop even further away after that game. Which means it'll be between Juve and Lazio, but I'll still have Juve as the favourites.
Sorry, no. Before you go, David. Like, I just got to word that that's why it is starting ahead of Giroud.
Wow,
Devil,
okay.
Go.
All right. Yeah, you know what? I said that Lazio would just fall off, and judging by the next game after I said that, it looks like I might be wrong. But as we said, there's still a lot of football to be played. Lazio are on one hell of a run at the moment. Juve don't look like they're that great either.
But they keep winning.
So Lazio look like the best team.
They'll never look good at Serie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Lazio look like the best team in Italy at the moment. You know, they're playing some good stuff. Immobile's scoring goals every game. Literally every game he's scoring goals.
Oh, no, his record is insane.
But Juve know how to win it. They know how to win it. They've been there, done that. So
before we move, Nix, any regrets on Ashley Young, or it is what it is?
I would have been cool with Ashley Young staying for the rest of the season as a senior figure, as long as it was just staying for the dressing room. I don't want to see him on the pitch. So I don't begrudge him the move because he's going to get game time under Conte. I got no issue with Ashley Young. He's never badmouthed the club. He's been a consummate professional. He just ain't good enough, and that's just the reality of life, isn't it? So I don't mind him moving on, and I'm happy for him. I'm happy he scored, but also I'm happy that they lost, innit? Because I don't want is Lukaku to win the Serie in his first season. After that's fine, but to win it in his first season is that it really rubs some salt, especially with all the crap he's actually been talking since he left, or maybe even when he was actually here. The interviews got released after, so as long as they don't win in the first season, then everything.
Don't you think he's got a right to chat crap about you lot?
No,
like the way that the fans treated him, especially the fans were on his back, and he was your top goal scorer.
Yes,
I think he's got a right to come out and say that.
Goal scorer because he was the striker that Jose trusted time and time again. But there's times where, for example, he goes on a 16-game run without scoring. Then he scores against Newcastle and he puts his hand to his ears.
Yeah.
Fans like, what? You haven't scored for 16 games. Relax your little self, innit? And I think that's a tongue in cheek because then the man got overnight and he's overweight to play for Man United. That's not professional. That's what I have an issue with.
He had a digestion system problem.
Of course he did. PR team's making overtime.
Basically, you regret Lukaku and Ashley Young.
No, I don't regret.
That's exactly what he said.
That's bottom line.
Well.
Not regret.
Basically, translation. I translated what you just said to English.
I heard the exact same thing.
Thank you.
I'll let it go because we're running out of time. I'll let it go.
So
schedule.
So now, I was on Twitter. I was looking through and I was like, wait, why is Marega trending? My first assumption was because Arsenal own Twitter, maybe Arsenal are linked to Marega or something. It's like, oh, okay. But I was like, okay, whatever. If someone's linked to him, who cares? I think it was during the Inter Lazio game. So I was okay, whatever. Then someone tweeted me and said, yo, HH, did you... Oh, sorry, no. Someone tweeted me and said that John Barnes won't be happy. I was like, what? So I then watched the video and I was like, oh, damn. Now, this is funny. So I'm going to confess to Devil with this. So this reminds me of the Balotelli incident. I think it was a preseason game against some nobodies where Balotelli, he walked off and the whole team followed him. And I was like, wow, like the team followed him. This was, Marek was like, no, I'm going to come off. And his players were literally forcing him to stay. And I was like, wow, you could have really had a powerful moment in coming together with your player and coming off. And why I find it so sad is you're putting fishnet ball ahead of racism and reality and respect. We all love football. I'm sorry, man. Life comes before football. Self-respect comes before football. And issues to do with racism and demeaning someone, that comes before bloody putting a ball inside a flipping fishnet. It's a game. It's not real life. It ain't reality. It's a human being. So for Knicks, sorry, Devil. Devil.
Yeah.
This always seems like Groundhog Day.
It does.
So from this incident, have we moved forward? Have we moved sideways? It just seems like if this keeps happening again and again and again, it will happen. Oh, I'm sorry, they'll get fined something, maybe a stadium ban. We say rinse, repeat. So what, in that incident, do you think that it should be more so of players like Marega walking off and the team coming off with him? And if that was done more times, maybe there'll be a bit of a shift, or what?
That's it. You hit it spot on. At the end of the day, the whole stadium, so all of the players heard it. They all saw the chairs being thrown. They all saw it. They saw his reaction and how visibly upset he was. I think one Porto player who was black himself pointed over to the manager and said, look, he's lost it. He needs to come off. So he's trying to tell the manager, bring him off. That's what Marega wanted. Marega didn't want to walk off the pitch. He wanted to be substituted. So it's not like he just said, right, I'm going to bop off the pitch. He wanted to be substituted, to which the manager, to give him his due, the manager told him to come off. He said, come. The players that stopped him are disgraceful. They're disgraceful because they were stopping and they were being physical with him. It wasn't even like they were trying to talk to him. They were trying to make him stay there. For me, the only way racism is going to stop is if not just the team of the player who's being abused walks off, but the other side, whose fans are abusing players, walk off as well. Because then you're saying, we are not tolerating this. Regardless of who he plays for, this is a human issue. And as a human being, I'm not going to tolerate this. We're all walking off together. All 22 man and the referee walk off. Yeah. Until that happens, we're going to get these silly fines. We're going to get stadium bans. We're going to get all this talk and rhetoric and, kick it out. We're going to say, yeah, well, you should do this, blah, blah, blah. Nothing's going to happen. But one other thing as well that I'd like to say is that you got a lot of people pointing fingers at Portugal and Italy and all this. Craig Ramage is up north. He's in Derby. He's coming out saying these young black. This is exactly what we was talking about the other day about black people and getting out too big for their boots, to quote Stormzy. And he said it. And his reaction was to apologize to his followers. He didn't apologize to no black people. He didn't apologize to none of the people that he offended. He's like, I didn't mean it, blah, blah, blah. Like, of course you meant it. That's why he said it. Why would you say it if you didn't mean it? And none of the people on the show with him said anything to him. They all just carried on like it was nothing. And then they tried to edit it out of the show as if no one would know. That is why there's a problem in this society, is because people are just trying to push it under the carpet. Unless people are willing to have a real conversation and actually look at where the problem resides, which isn't just a football problem. It isn't just a problem in Portugal. It's not just a problem in Italy. It exists here and now. We all go through it. Day to day, we all see it. Unless people are willing to have that conversation, which is going to make a lot of people uncomfortable, then it's not going to change. Yeah.
Wait, before I come to Nick's very quickly, I think, 400, everything that Deb said is very true. And I think that the key thing, or like that, what you said is that don't point fingers. Look, what was it called? Like, I went to flipping school here in England as well. And for me, like, coming from Nigeria to England, I was shocked by the level of racism I had. And this is just from like a flipping 12, 13-year-old. I was like, wow. So it was a huge thing living in Nigeria where everyone is black. So coming to England and just the kind of subliminal stuff that's out there. Obviously, England have done it enough to take it away, but England should never be like, oh no, we're like really good. Hey, look at all these bad racist people. That's just stupid. But what I've always said though is I feel that you can't remove racism from society. That's impossible. That's just a disease that human beings will have to deal with for all time. It is just what it is. Racism evolves, but 100%, if UEFA and the FA really cared, they could remove racism from football stadiums. It's just that they don't care. Nix.
Well, of course, yeah, I think the last point you make, if they really wanted to, they are, and it's not to say, well, it is to say actually, they're happy to ban Man City for 2 years for Champions League, which we'll get on to a bit later, for something that's not illegal in terms of the law of the land, but something that goes against the laws of football. But when it comes to the laws of humanity, they're very, very slow to actually do things and put things in place to ensure they don't happen again. When it comes to the money, they're happy. They're happy to fine, Nicholas Bentner, I think, for showing sponsored underwear years ago because the money or the sponsorship is affected. But when it comes to people's humanity, black people's humanity, that's where they draw the line. That's why they want to have a discussion and, as you said, give a lip service, but not actually do anything, because it will show up a lot of people, a lot of the big wigs who are sitting in certain positions for what they truly are. You mentioned the Craig Ramage, and even his apology. He goes, "This isn't, this error is by no means my point of view." And I said, "No, your quote unquote error is exactly your point of view. Nobody prompted you. Nobody forced you to say it. This is what was in your head. And you said that these boys need to be taken back down to these young black boys. When I look at these young black boys, the way they act, the way they stand, they need to be taken back down a peg or two." A question in the live chat, Erhan says, "How can Portuguese fans be racist when most of the national team is mixed?" Because when you're doing a job for them, when you're performing and you're making them happy, it's cool as long as you know your place. As long as you don't get too big for your boots, for want of a better term, we're happy. As long as you're tapping, when racism was rife in America, Jim Crow, they had black people on the stage making an absolute fool of themselves, entertaining the white people, and they're happy with that. But once you start to stand up where they would say step out of line, you'll become an uppity Negro, you might say, that's when the issue starts. So not only did you have Marega scoring the winning goal, he's saying, not only am I scoring against you, I also don't rate what you're doing. I'm going to make a point of it. And when you start fighting back, that's when it comes even more. So they can both be racist and support people who are playing for Portugal. It's not.
No, because it's the whole goes back to the whole slavery era and everything. It was like, I want you to do this work for me. I don't respect you as a person, but I respect your physical attributes to help me win this thing for my team or my entity. But behind closed doors, you're still low. But I think, look, man, I just think that because I always draw a parallel to like basketball, and I said that would LeBron or soul rest in peace, bro, man. Do you know how weird it is? I was just like LeBron, Kobe. Crazy. But basically, would a LeBron, a Kobe, would they sort of just accept that, hey man, racism is just part of it, Because those players that were keeping Marega on and so forth, in their minds, it was similar to what Bonucci said to Moise Kean, is that, look, man, these are ultras, it's just part of the game. That's the danger. So as black people, we just have to accept that what is part of football is racism. Because even for me, like, as I told you, as well, I grew up in Nigeria, then I came to England. So I will never be used to, hey man, being in a football terrace and just racism being whole. I'm like, no. Whenever I go and watch like Nigeria's matches and everything, Nigerians are extremely funny and joyous and cool. So I can never accept that you insulting someone because he's gay, insulting someone because he's black, insulting someone because he's Asian is part of football and part of football banter. Apart from no. I'm a football fan. How could big parts of a football fan be being homophobic and being racist? That makes no sense. But some people are trying to embed this into it and trying to give ultras a pass by saying, this is just what ultras do, which is insane.
Yeah.
No, the only time Nigerians really get angry is when you tell them that Ghanaian jollof rice is better. That's for another day.
It's ain't, bro. Relax, it's ain't. Okay, look, man. So let's go to our main discussion right now. And this was huge news. this was massive news through the whole thing. And I wanna even dissect this down in many sections. So let's just deal with the first section right now, which is the incidents, the punishments, before we now trickle down into who will leave, Pep, Guardiola, Sterling, so forth, and PSG, whatever. But let's just deal with the incidents first. So I always thought that FFP was just fluff. And when they came, like, we're not going to stamp out. We're going to try and make sure that everybody now follows the law and everything. And I remember they said this like years ago. And I was like, okay, sure. Then we hardly had anything. They talk. We hardly had anything. So fast forward now to this time, as we always had murmurings of, PSG, Man City, just murmurings, but nothing concrete. Now, from what I can recall, or what I've now researched and looked at, this was like about 6 months in the making. So this was literally about many months in the making. And from what I know, again, maybe you guys can add to me, it's about Man City sort of not being truthful with their accounts. It's not that they did something illegal, is that you're hiding the full truth with regards to how you acquire money and funds. Mm-hmm. And my thing is, okay, that's bad. Does that warrant a 2-year Champions League expulsion? That's insane. That's one thing. Mm. And the other thing is, I use this as an example. I've got rich friends. So you're going to punish me because I have rich friends who I can use for sponsorship money to help fund guys? Why are you reprimanding me for that? Because people say that I'm foolish for saying this. I don't know, and maybe Devil will have something to say about this. Is that I feel what American sports do, that's cap system.
Devil, as your rich friend, he has something to say about it.
I wish.
Oh yeah, no. I said this again, but I think because I think that a cap system should be brought into football. That's what I feel. I feel that a cap system should be brought into football, and there should be a spending cap that all teams have to adhere to. Because how you have this whole cowboy thing of you can spend as much as you want means that for Man City and PSG, like, I can spend as much as I want. I'm a rich dude. I love football. I want my own toy. I'm going to spend whatsoever. And am I really going to look at all of the details with regards to how I have to adhere to their financial rulings? The issue is the fact that there is no overall cap system. If there's no cap system, it's going to be difficult for guys to be like, oh, geez, I didn't declare where this came from and so forth. So, Nix, first off, let's deal with this. The punishments. Is the punishment right for the crime?
That's a very hard question to answer because this is, I think Man City are somewhat repeat offenders. They've been fined. I think it was back in maybe 2012-13. They then had a squad cap punishment. They had to reduce their squad to, I think, 23 players because of FFP violations. And then they had this 2-year ban. I think 2 years is extreme because no one's even been banned for 1 year. So what is the precedence to be banned for 1 year for then you to then go 2 years? I think first and foremost it is. I think the reason why they've gone so extreme is it's two things. One, people have been looking at FFP as it's a joke. You bring this in, and the only squad who's actually abiding by it is Arsenal, and we can see how it's affected them. I mean, Spurs are on their own, self-imposed transfer ban, but that's for Levy to discuss. But everyone looks at it as a joke because you get a little petty fine, and it's business as usual. So I think UEFA have to make an example out of someone. I was going to say a big club, but Man City are a big club. They just happen to be sitting at a big table in the last 10 years. A real example would be punishing Real Madrid, Barcelona, Man United, Liverpool, but that would probably do more damage to UEFA than punishing someone who, like Man City, who don't have as much friends in high places as the teams that I mentioned. But also because Man City didn't cooperate with the investigation. They were very dismissive of UEFA, whether right or wrong. But these are the people the competition that you are wanting to qualify and win, you're under their governing body, their structure, their rules, and you completely dismiss them. You go above them to the court of arbitration and basically question their legislation regarding FFP before actually dealing with the actual matter at hand. So I think UEFA said, well, you know what, F you, this is what we're doing because nobody messes with us. We are the big dogs here, and we're going to make an example of you. Now, I think by doing 2 years, it gives them leeway that if Man City were to say win some kind of appeal or anything, there's some leniency, it can get reduced to 1 year. If 1 year,
which will happen. 1 year will happen.
That's what's going to happen. Yeah.
If they do 1 year, the likelihood of Man City actually serving a ban is then much slimmer. It might be then suspended or actually completely eliminated. So I think 2 years gives UEFA still some respect in terms of what they're trying to implement with FFP. But I do think 2 years is harsh.
I think that's exactly it. I think that's the reason they gave 2 years, because they're looking at it thinking, well, they'll appeal it. It'll get cut down to 1 year, but at least they still have a punishment. I think that's why they've done it. And I think it's funny as well. I know he's not part of UEFA. He works for FIFA, but since Wenger's gone behind closed doors, you know, Wenger's kind of said, well, I was going to get you guys at FFP long time, but you lot ran away from it. Now, look, I'm here. He's come for them. And he found, you know what I mean? They interviewed him on Sky and he said, yeah, he signed 5 players from us. Yeah. Yeah. Man was laughing after them. Wenger's a don. Don't mess with Wenger. But I think in terms of how it will affect City, it won't affect them that big. You know what I mean? They'll be out for 1 season. I doubt many of their players will leave. I know everyone's saying De Bruyne is going to leave. Aguero is probably going to leave soon anyway. Do you know what I mean? They haven't got a transfer ban or anything like that. It just means they can't play in the Champions League for what will be 1 season. They haven't done anything in the Champions League anyway. Do you know what I mean? They haven't won the Champions League or done anything anyway. So being out of it for 1 season will just mean that they'll go and win the league. Yeah. Because they won't have to play any European football. It'll be a blessing, because by the looks of it, you don't want to be playing European football the way Liverpool are carrying on. You want to have 1 game a week while Liverpool are playing in 4 competitions. It kind of just means Man City will be favourites to win the league again, because they won't have to go through all of that hardship. Yeah. So I think it won't be a massive blow for them. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I know Pep's already come out saying he's going to stay, which I think is bollocks. But I think, you know, Sterling's come out and said he's going to stay in that. But I can't see them losing too many of their stars. Man City don't lose players. They've never lost a player to a rival club. And since they become big boys, they've not lost any players they don't want to lose.
Okay, so actually, you even touched on point the next point that I wanted to come on, which is the fact of so let's look at 2 scenarios. Let's say worst case scenario, it's a 2-year ban. So obviously, like we've heard apparently via Sky Sports that Pep and Sterling said that they're going to stay despite whatsoever. So let me ask you this then, Devil. Like, if it's a 2-year ban, do we see a Man City exodus that includes Pep saying, look, man, we have to leave because this was no fault of our own? I get it if we're not in the Champions League because I finished 5th and below. But if I win the title or I finish top 4 and I can't play Champions League and I can't acquire players, because Champions League is a great bargaining tool for bringing in players. Doesn't matter how good of a manager you are, how much you can offer. Being in the Champions League is something that guys are like, okay, let me come towards you. So Devil, then, if it is 2 years, the appeal doesn't fall through that they have to serve the 2 years, do you see a Man City exodus, or do you feel that most players will stay?
I think most will stay. I think Aguero, as I said before, he's coming towards the end of his career. He'll probably want to move on, maybe finish his career in Argentina or back in Spain or something like that. I think Kevin De Bruyne is the interesting one. I think Kevin De Bruyne might want to leave because he's in the prime of his career. He might look for a big money move. Other than that, I can't think of too many other players.
Bernardo Silva will stay based on how he's been playing?
Well, Bernardo Silva hasn't, this season, what's he done? He hasn't been great. I think
we have to look at what contract some of these players, because some of these players are 4 5 year contracts. So it's like, yeah, you want to leave, but you can't. So what are you going to do? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Players can't leave. People like Sane will leave. He was
but he was going to leave anyway.
Yeah. You're gonna
but he'll definitely leave now.
The questions are going to be more so because they do need to buy some players regardless. Champions are going to, what players, if it's a guaranteed 2-year ban, what players are going to go for? Now, if they go for the young players that, you know, they've generally gone for like under 25 players, but there has been some purchases above that. I would say players above 25 are unlikely to come if they know, I'm talking about world-class players or top quality players, if they know they're out for Champions League for 2 years, if there's other options on the table. It might get to a point where if you're going after certain players competing with other Champions League squads, they're gonna have to kind of go back to the old days, or I say 10 years ago, where they had to overpay in terms of wages to ensure that they come. But I think Pep is the key. If Pep is to stay for those 2 years, I think it's kind of business as usual in terms of transfers. If Pep goes and they're out of Champions League for 2 years, you start asking who's going to come in.
Wait.
Well,
so you're saying that Pep is enough to still attract top players without Champions League football for 2 years?
Yeah, I think so. Pep. I think he is. Man City aren't on Man United's level, no. But we were out of the Champions League and we signed Ibrahimovic, Pogba, and Mkhitaryan all in one summer. And we were out of the Champions League. So, and that was with Mourinho. Pep.
We were out of the Champions League and got Aubameyang, and we're not even Man United.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Pep in this modern day climate has that pulling power. Players know the style of football they're going to play, how much they're going to improve, etc. So if they're under 25, I think they can, they'll be happy enough, content enough to play out of Champions League for 2 years because they're working under Pep. If it ends up being a Mauricio Pochettino, for example, if Pep goes, or whoever they get, I don't know who else could be, then the questions are raised because what's the draw to play for City now?
But you might also find that they might adopt a new transfer policy. They might just sign the best players from outside the top four. And they might be looking at your Wolves or Sheffield United or whoever it is at the time, and say, "Well,
that kind of stuff."
That's what I'm saying. So we'll just buy their best players.
Yeah.
And you're going to tell me that a player from Sheffield United or maybe not Wolves because they got money and all sorts of things there already, but one of those kind of clubs won't want to jump to Man City, which is a much bigger, much better prospect, just for the sake of not playing in Champions League for 2 years when you never played there before anyway. So they might just adopt that approach and do a Bayern Munich, just buy all the best of the rest.
Okay, so
for sale. So
basically, I think if this thing goes through, I mean, even if we just say like best case scenario from City, it's a 1 year ban. I believe we now have a race for fifth. So because I've already said this right now, if I see Chris Wilder take out a team on the Bernabeu or then Camp Nou, I was shutting down the football hut for about 6 months. Like
why?
No. Look, no offense, but that's seeing Chris Wilder and Sheffield United face Real Madrid or Barcelona in a Champions League game. I think that's just like it's taking the piss. No offense, but that's just that. Look, it's just taking the piss, guys. Because come on.
All right, if they finish fourth, will you take the same approach? If Sheffield finished fourth, so by default in it anyway, would that be the same, or is it the fact?
No. I mean, it will not be the same, but it'll be similar. If I see Sheffield United in the Champions League in whatever form, like even when Ipswich were in the Champions League, I was like, wait, how the heck are Ipswich in this play? What the hell? So if they are in the Champions League, because when Everton got there, because look, it's Everton, like they're like one of the oldest clubs in the Premier League. So I remember when Ipswich were there, I was like, no, this just looks odd. Ipswich Town, what the heck? So if Sheffield United, have they ever been in any major European competition ever?
Not that I know of.
I don't think so. I think the last time they would have had a chance would have been 1993.
Yeah,
so, no, that was Sheffield Wednesday.
Wait, live chats. Sheffield United, have they ever been in a major European competition? Please, live chat. Check us out. All right, so look, man.
I'll just say we got a poll running on Nick Sports. Will Pep stay at City for the next?
For
the transfer ban. So head over to Nick Sports on Twitter, vote, retweet. And
should we announce the results now or at the end?
It's been done. I think I did it too short.
Oh wow, hell no. Well, Pep said, let's sit through the Champions League, but says hell no. Oh wow.
Right, he's got 1 year on his contract, doesn't he? I think he's got 1 year remaining.
1 more year in his contract.
So if they do come down with 2 years,
you think he'll go at the end of the next season?
I think he'll be gone in the next season.
Yeah, not for me.
I don't think he'll stay the whole time.
I strongly doubt Pep is going to stay. That's just me. Like I strongly doubt that. Look, because Pep knows that. Because I always Pep knows that the monkey on his back is the whole Champions League thing that he hasn't won. He's not been to a final without Messi, and everyone thinks that no, Messi gave you that Champions League, and I think he knows that in order to emulate the great Mourinho, you've got to win the Champions League without Messi. and with two different teams, because very few managers have won it with two different teams.
You know what he's going to do? You know what Man City are going to do? He's going to leave, and Man City are going to come take Mikel Arteta after he wins the league with Arsenal next season, and we'll be back to square one.
So who's winning the league of Arsenal?
Mikel Arteta.
Man beat
Lego Jesus.
Newcastle 4-0, and all of a sudden they're like, "You're gonna win."
We whooped Newcastle 4-0. When Ozil and Lacazette score, you know the man's doing something right. He's blessed. It's just divine intervention.
Look, man. Look, Arsenal is a whole other discussion that we can't get into right now, man.
Give me 3 more months. I'll be ready to talk about it.
Look, basically, look at that. You're being attacked. Look at that.
Arteta wins what? The league next season. That's what I said.
All right. Champions League, man. Champions League preview, man. Good way to round our things off, man. So let's just, let's start off first with this right here. Now, I believe that Atalanta are the first team to come to make it into the next round by losing 3 games. First team ever that has done that, which I just think is freaking insane. But I think, look, man, what these guys are punching well above their weight. They've got some decent players, but they're punching well above their weight. So, Atlanta Valencia, how do you see this tie going? Let's look at the tie overall. How do you see this tie overall going?
It is wide open. Because it is wide. Valencia, you don't know what you're going to get with Valencia.
But they're very strong at home, though.
They have some really good players. They're capable of playing some really good football, but they're also capable of an absolute dog shite. It's one or the other. Do you know what I mean? So if Atalanta are a dangerous team going forward, they've got some good attacking players. If they can really put Valencia under pressure and stop Valencia from scoring in Italy, they'll fancy getting a goal over there. So I think it's quite a wide open tie, to be honest.
I think Atalanta, they're the high scorers in Serie.
63 goals.
63.
Yeah.
So I expect goals in this game. As you say, it's hard to know what Valencia is going to turn up. But in terms of the first leg, I expect Atalanta to win. I don't know by what margin, but I do expect them to win. I hope they go for it because I think they're more exciting to watch than Valencia. Even when Valencia are playing well, I'm not excited by them at all. Last season or this season, in the Champions League, Atalanta, we saw when they played Man City in the group stage, home and away, like it was just kind of we're just gonna go for it. And when you're an underdog, you kind of just need to go for it because unless you're managed by Mourinho, sitting back at this stage of the competition with the quality that you got, you're not really. It's not going to justice. You really have to go for it. I'm not saying they're anywhere like Monaco back in 2017 or whatever it was, but you saw, and even Dortmund, you see the freedom to just go forward and kind of see what happens and take the showcase of the Champions League, take it into its full extent. So yeah, I hope they go for it.
And also remember, like if the winner of this plays the winner of the Leipzig Tottenham thing, that's a huge way of getting into the semi. Because I think the winner of this tie, the only way that they can make the semi is if they face the winner of Leipzig and thinking anyone else, whether they face Barcelona, Juventus, Liverpool, because they're so crap, if anybody faces PSG can go away. And look, Armchair Critic, we will get to this. What we're building up. He says if PSG gets knocked out in the round of 16, Neymar will leave. Armchair Critic, if PSG get knocked out in the round of 16, Neymar is retiring from football under my tutelage. So if I have anything to say. So let's see, what should we let's roll with this one. Tottenham Leipzig. Really close. Like I always say this, that basically when this tie was made, Leipzig were clear at the top of the table. Bayern was still struggling a little bit. Tottenham were like very sort of inconsistent. Actually, Mourinho was the manager, wasn't he, when this tie was made? Yeah,
I think so.
And so I was like, Leipzig still close, but Leipzig are favorites. Fast forward to now, Leipzig have been up and down. I think Bayern have now returned back to the top of the table, and Leipzig have looked as if they're not really as quality, and as almost impenetrable as they once were. Guys, this literally is 50-50. this is 50-50, and I can't call it. I am maybe edging towards Leipzig, but it's Mourinho. First of all, it's Mourinho. He has the experience. He knows how to do two-legged ties really well. And this is new ground for Leipzig. This is new ground for Nagelsmann. This is the first time Nagelsmann is facing a Champions League knockout game, and this is the first time he's facing a guy who is a veteran in this format. So, Nix, where are you lying for this game?
I think Spurs have to win the home leg. Have to win the home leg. I can't see them going to. Well, they're not going to go there and keep a clean sheet. I mean, they're not going to keep a clean sheet at home anyway. They never do. But they have to win. And I think they have to win by 2 goals in this first leg to really have a good chance. Defensively, and it's so strange because it's Jose Mourinho, and we know he's defense first, probably attack third. I don't know what second, but their defense hasn't improved at all since he's come in. I don't know what's actually going on in training or whatever it is, or maybe he has got a new approach that he speaks about. I don't know, but his defense hasn't improved at all. So they need to go and score. And I think with I don't watch a lot of Leipzig in terms of the German Bundesliga, so I don't know how good they are defensively. But with Bergwijn, Son, and Lucas, they're dangerous against anyone on the break. So I think obviously he's going to sit back, hit them on the counter. But you got Timo Werner in your team. He's got like 20 goals in the league already, 20 and 22 or something like that. So I can't guarantee it, but I'm sure he's going to score at some point in this first leg. Spurs need a 2-goal lead if they're going to go through.
Yeah, I think Spurs will struggle to keep RBO out. I think Spurs defensively have been shocking. They've been conceding goals against everybody. If they do that against Leipzig, Leipzig will go through. They cannot afford to let Leipzig score 2-3 goals. Nagelsmann has changed the system slightly in the last few weeks. He's gone to 3 at the back, which has seen them look a little bit more solid. So I think he'll keep going with that. And they've got a lot of quick players going up the other end of the pitch. So if they invite Spurs onto him, and with Aurier at right back, if he gets anywhere near the pitch, he's going to be in trouble. If you have Aurier on the pitch, Leipzig will be all over him, and they will target him. And we've seen what happens when teams target that side of the pitch against Spurs. They end up scoring because Aurier is a terrible, terrible footballer.
No. He's a terrible defender.
He's a terrible footballer.
All over, man.
He's poor everywhere.
His worst is defending is worse than his attacking.
Yeah.
And he's a right back, but he's just not good.
But I think it comes down to how can Son, Bergwijn, and Moura, if he goes with all 3, because he might not go with all 3. Well, they don't have options, but I'm thinking, what if he wants to just maybe put another man in midfield or something like that? If he doesn't want to go, because Mourinho has these things in him where he's like safety first. Is he going to play all 3? Because if that's the case, and
he needs to win on
extra man in midfield.
He needs to win on the goals,
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting tie, but I think Leipzig go through in this tie, to be honest.
All right.
Put your Arsenal hat on.
That's my Arsenal hat, and yeah, my heart and my head says the same.
Okay,
So I think this one is a foregone conclusion. Now, I don't mean to be rude, but Morata is trash. And Atletico Madrid are operating with no strikers.
Costa's fit.
So dude hasn't had relevant in like 2 years. So what are you guys saying here? Like, do you think that Liverpool can end the tie at Wanda Tuesday night, or do you think Atletico can somehow spring a miracle and actually somehow, some way, do something to get through this tie?
It's done. It's done. It's done. Liverpool through.
Yeah, there's Liverpool aren't gonna Liverpool will win at Anfield. Therefore,
as they always do,
they have to win at home, and they ain't gonna win at home. So, as Devil said, it's done.
Even if Atletico do win at home,
they're not.
Liverpool have got juju on their stadium. And it's strong.
Yeah,
it's strong juju. Yeah. European nights at Anfield, they just win.
Even when they were dead. Even when they were dead.
It's literal juju. It's like they were dead, and they did something and come back from the dead. It's literally, it's strong.
I think they'll win both legs. I think they win home and away.
Damn. Oh no, I mean, but Atletico do have a good. But look, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. But they do have a good record at their crib. But yeah, foregone. I look at a foregone conclusion. All right, and so if
this is
Haaland
juicy.
knocks out I don't know. I keep having this image of Haaland knocking out PSG. I don't know why.
Well,
I keep having this image of him not knocking out PSG. I don't know why. Is this a possibility?
I mean, that's what he was created for. That's what they made him in a lab for. Do you know? And that's what they put all the different chemicals and whatnot and created this stone cold striker who has no emotion.
PSG wouldn't dare get knocked out in the last 16. Surely not.
Yes, they would, because they have produced some of the greatest bottling, total self-destruction performances of all time. They are the greatest bottlers in Champions League history. So anything with PSG, don't rule anything out.
At least Neymar's back. Neymar's back.
And Di Maria's on form, Mbappe's on form, Cardi's doing his bit. This is a good game of football. This is a good tie. You know, I think Dortmund
There'll be goals.
Banging 4 goals every game.
But no Royce. Royce is injured. Royce is injured.
That doesn't matter. They banged 4 last week, 5 the week before that. They're just banging goals from everywhere.
They're conceded as well.
Yeah, but I don't know which way this is going to go. This is a very even tie in my mind. I think this first leg is going to be a very good game of football. I just hope that both teams go out there and play their game and we just be entertained. But PSG
but Dortmund only know how to play one way. Though it's like there is no other way. Like I can't. It will make no sense if this finishes 0-0. If this finishes 0-0, then this would be like the Italy-Germany 06 World Cup 0-0, where like it's just like 3,000 chances and nobody could flip and score. Because Dortmund will attack. PSG only know how to attack. So overall, then, who do you say goes to PSG or Dortmund?
I think it will be a score draw in the first leg, and I think PSG will go through overall.
Okay. So last 10 minutes or so. Nick, do you have access to the lineup?
Yes, we do. Obviously, Chelsea at home. The world's most expensive keeper benched.
Ooh, Caballero.
Yet again for Willie.
Juan Caballero.
Why does he keep changing the central defensive pairing, man? What is someone's problem?
Reece James, right. And Aspilicueta left back, Christensen and Rudiger as the centre backs, Kante, Jorginho, and Kovacic as the midfield 3. Willian, Pedro. What the hell? Willian Nedro's back. Willian Nedro is back from the and Batsman, Batshuayi front.
That's a poverty front 3, man.
It really is, but luckily for the poverty.
I hope they just mash up your tape. Yeah. Don't worry, the game ain't started yet.
So that's
the Man United lineup.
It's the Chelsea lineup. So Man United, David De Gea. It looks like we're going with a back 5. Wan-Bissaka and Williams as the wing backs. Bailly is back.
Oh wow!
Bailly back.
For how long?
Captain Maguire and Luke Shaw. Cool, blimey. Matic back from suspension with Fred in the middle. Bruno Fernandes at number 10. And James and Marshall as the split strikers. So it's
interesting.
5, 2, 1. 2.
Wait, so is this Fernandez' first game?
No,
Second.
He started against Wolves just in winter break. So if Fred and Matic are sitting, then he doesn't have to come back. In the Wolves game, he started as a number 10, but because Pereira was playing as the central midfielder, and we know Pereira can't pass, the ball wasn't getting to Bruno Fernandes. So he had to move to the central midfield to then pass it to Pereira, but we know Pereira can't pass.
Oh, Pereira's not playing.
Oh, no, he's not. Pereira is on the bench. Igalo.
Is Igalo on the bench?
Who's sitting next to him? They're probably shook.
He said, if Igalo
be up there warming up.
If Igalo scores the winner.
No. If Igalo gets the winning goal, man.
As a matter of fact, how about if Igalo scores the winner, we need to do a live stream match review. Igalo was the winner.
Okay, so let me just quickly take the super chats here from Brian K02. Remember when PSG did it against United? Yeah, that's why they're a bunch of huge flipping bottlers, and Buffon should be embarrassed for himself. Let me just be real quick here. Like, when I did my preview, maybe Lampard didn't get the memo. Maybe like I should use UPS or DHL instead of like Fed. So Lampard, did you see my video? Guys, please help me out here. Try and make some sense into Francis's thinking. Batshuayi simply doesn't work. He simply doesn't work. Giroud, devil, speak on it. He's not the greatest footballer in the world.
The thing is, if you're gonna have Giroud, you need to have someone playing off him. Willian ain't gonna do that. Pedro ain't gonna do that. And he's got Kovacic, Jorginho, and Kante. Giroud would kind of be isolated. You're probably going to throw balls in the box, but Maguire is very good in the air. Bailly's good in the air. So I could see why he maybe hasn't gone for Giroud in this game. But having said that, Batshuayi, is he really going to do it as well? It's a strange one. At least Mason Mount ain't playing.
I
think for Giroud to work, Giroud worked well with Hazard. Because Hazard would put the ball and then he'll be there for the layoff. Do you know what I mean? But Pulisic could do that, but Chelsea
isn't this what a manager's responsibility is through training? You have days of training. Are you saying that if Willian is instructed and when they do 5-on-5, you're doing drills of like a Willian Giroud, do drills 1-2, if you say that if that isn't drilled into Willian, he's incapable of implementing that in a full game?
I'm not saying you could probably try and drill that as much as well, but it might not look effective in training. It might not have worked. He might have tried to do that, and it's not natural. Some things you just can't force. If Willian's the kind of player he's good at what he does, you're going to try and change him into someone else. It might not work. If you don't have that personnel in your squad, go with what you do have. And that's what he's trying to do.
All right, look, I think time for score predictions, man, before we get out of here, man. Bro, man, look, I'm not confident, man.
I think Chelsea get revenge for that opening day defeat. I think Chelsea win the game and they get revenge.
You think?
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be like it was at Old Trafford where United won 4-0.
Oh, no. Look, Rashford was key.
I think Chelsea will win. Chelsea will win this game, I think.
I think like Chelsea haven't been good at home this season, but where we don't have a good record at Stamford Bridge. I can't remember the last time we won there in the league, but we play well against the big sides, which tells me draw. I think I'm going 1-1. I'm going 1-1.
Could be Bruno Fernandes. Welcome to the Premiership.
It could be.
Look, I'm going for 1-1, man.
I'm winning. Listen, you talk about Juju. They got some real Juju against us, man. Even last season, where Martial scores the 2 goals and it looks like we're going to get a 2-1 win, and then last minute, is it Barkley? Yeah,
Barkley.
And then I'm finding out that he's Nigerian at the end of the game as well. Like, tell me.
No, he's not.
I'm just like,
Barkley isn't Nigerian. He's not.
Yeah, he's Igbo.
Is it Igbo pre?
No, he's not.
He's Igbo.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
He's not Igbo. No, he's not.
He is.
Yoruba.
Okay, look, guys, we have to get out of here so we can try and catch this game and everything. Remember, on the link below, join up on the Patreon page so you can support the Goal for Football Dugout. We'll hopefully be trying to put as much new stuff in there and extra stuff in there for all of you guys to watch and enjoy. And hey, look, man, we'll see you guys next week where we'll be previewing the games next week. And obviously Chelsea Bayern. Well, if Chelsea get touched by United.
Is that next week?
Yeah, Chelsea Bayern. Look, haven't you been following the hashtags F25, F25? All right, guys, look, guys, I'm out, man. Guys, I'm out. Peace out. Peace.